What's up guys, Ronaldo here and welcome. Today is finally time to update this bit of outdated tier list already nowadays, right? It has been a long time since we did this tier list. A new content came out, new heroes came out, certain heroes even got buffs. So there's a lot of adjustments that we have to do here. So I copied the exact lineup here, the tier list I had previously. And on that tier list, we're gonna first do some adjustments to now the new content that came out, the new heroes that came out that weaken or strengthen certain heroes. And then afterwards, I will go over all of these new heroes. As you can see, there's a lot of new heroes that we have here as well, that came out as well, to rank them properly on top of that. But first up, as we can see, we have the lords. They are more or less ranked in order, in my opinion, in value, the best to worst. Then we have God tier, Z tier, or like top notch. S tier plus is also top notch. S tier is good, but mostly in certain aspects of the game and not like exceptional. Then A plus is great, A is meh, B is get out of here, and C, don't even get me started on Giselle. And starting off with the adjustments, right? The first adjustment that I'm gonna do here is gonna be I'm gonna put Comet here into Z tier, from God tier to Z tier. Reason being, there's so many mages that came to the game that give a lot of options for certain content, where before it was basically only the Comet show. Now Gear Dungeon 1, he still is the GOAT himself, right? The thing is that he fell off in PvP, right? He is still in PvE a monster, but you also need to be in PvP top notch to be God tier, and that's where the mages kind of fell out of meta, with PvP being dominated nowadays with these pay-to-win factions, aka the arbiters, and the nowadays being dominated nowadays by these arbiter teams or the chaotic teams, more or less, or Ingrid teams, right? But Ingrid teams are mostly arbiter teams as well. They run the Praetus. So therefore, he has fallen out of meta in PvP. PvE is still top tier progression, but fell off down to Z tier. Still one of the best heroes to have, of course. Then quick note on the Vierna. Vierna is not a Z tier hero herself. It's just because of the Silas Bond skill, to have her, it is very important, and that alone gets her to Z tier. Then next adjustment we'll do, boom, Eloin above Silas. I think that's reasonable. I think she just performs everywhere, right? In the gear dungeons that came out, she performs in both of them. In Apocalypse Guild Boss 2, she performs as well. She's very universal, very strong, and she, rightfully so, now with the Elohim banner, I hope all of you got her on the last weekend, is now, in my opinion, from the normal summoning pool, pretty much the best hero you can get. Then Setram. Now Setram, I have to say, he will fall down to low S plus tier, maybe even S tier. I think no, low S plus tier is fine. His damage is good, his burst is good, his shield breaking is good, his different shield breaking types are good as well. His range is really what makes him so good, but the damage compared to the newer heroes is not on par for the guild bosses, right? He's not gonna be a guild boss 2 slayer. He's good for Gear Dungeon 2, you can use him there, but for C tier, comparing to these guys, it's not quite enough. But there is a few heroes, there are a few heroes that I really wanna add here onto the Z tier. And first up is going to be Volca. Now Volca got the buff, a big buff. Now she's not only usable for her cooldown reduction, but also for her as a hero herself, right? She's amazing for Guild Boss 2, very, very strong. damage negation, giving lifesteal for your team for the poison stage as well. Vulnerability, deals surprisingly a lot of damage to it as well. You can just put a Wailing Skull and she does a lot of there. You can use her as tank. Gear Dungeon 2, she's amazing, right? You can use her even in some Nightmare comps in Arena. Now, of course, Nightmare comps, like I said, Arbiter and Chaotix are kind of the meta, but you can use her to a certain degree in if you want to try it. And also, she's just a very, very good in all the new content that came out. And that buff was just amazing. Just an amazing buff overall, in my opinion. Then another hero that got a buff, and that is Arrogance. Now, Arrogance is an amazing hero. First of all, he got a buff thanks to Lost Bond skill, right? And on top of that, he also right there. He also got buffed through the content that came out, right? He's amazing for Air Gear Dungeon 2. He's amazing for Apocalypse 2, Samurai, right? He's one of the hardest hitting heroes there. Same for Lost, like I said, she also had a glow up. I think Lost even has even more potential because not only, right, we're ranking them not at A5, huh? So if you're a whale, you say, oh, A5 Lost, God tier, okay, fair enough. Ranking them not at A5, we're being realistic here. So Lost, the thing is, when the new Nightmare lore comes out, right, Lost provides rage for that hero. So the value of Lost, simply to have on your team to provide rage for a new heavy hitter on Nightmare, will always be exceptional, right? Utility will always be good. Damage will get power creeped faster than utility, so Lost potential very high. And then Arrogance also for Epilogue does very well there. Same for Lost for the later stages. They do exceptional. Also Volca, by the way, just like Ardea as well. She does exceptional. And I'm considering putting Ardea in God tier, but we'll come back to her. We'll come back to her later. Let's go and continue with the next Z tier hero. That's right. We have a lot of glow ups, and that is a Constance. Now, I'm thinking, where should I put Constance in here? We're gonna put her just C tier here. She's you could argue her even God tier. Like all of these C tier heroes are crazy. Right, Constance, amazing for Praetus teams, amazing for Ingrid teams, amazing for many codexes, amazing for Apocalypse 2, amazing for Epilogue as well. You know, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll do the controversial take. Constance, I'll put her God tier. Thinking of it, right? Yeah. I wanted to do one more unit God tier. I think Constance is amazing, right? I think she is very, very good. She's the one that can enable you to clear Epilogue without having a Valderan. She's the one that can enable you clear Zolail easier. She's the one for Apocalypse 2, the best healer there, buffer there. She does so many good things. Constance deserves God tier, I think. Honestly, just an amazing hero. Just so versatile. Attack buffing, we know it's so strong. Once a new attack buffer comes out, she might fall down. But she's even in PvP very strong because, right, these two, her factions are very strong in PvP, making her very strong in PvP too. Epilogue, she's amazing. Void Rift, she's amazing. Gear Raid 1, she's good. Gear Raid 3, she's good. Gear Raid 2, she's not that crazy, but she's nice to have as well if you don't have a Dolores. But really, in the boss killing aspects, Guild Boss 2, she's so good. And the PvP. Is she God tier? We leave her. Maybe Ardea over Constance. We'll take a look. I only want to have 4 in God tier. We'll get back to her. But I think she's amazing. Then Cerberus. Cerberus has fallen out of arena meta and therefore has fallen down into S tier. From S plus to S tier. He's still good. Also in the Codex, AoE Conqueror Codex, he's still amazing there, but there also have been new alternatives, new heroes that came in that deal also a very good AoE damage. But he of course is still goated there. Next up, Durza. Unfortunately, we'll have to put him on top of A tier. I think Durza has a lot of potential still. You just need someone like a Vierna, someone with a one-tap ability, you know, and then he can just buff that one-tap ability by a large margin, by 50%, and that in some harder content. The problem is he's not really good for boss killing. Boss killing is very valuable now with the Apocalypse 2, Samra, Guild Boss 2 coming out. Boss killing all of a sudden has gained a lot more value than before. Therefore, if there's some hard stages where you need some extra buffs, some extra burst, it can help a lot. Actually, I'll put him in A plus here, because if you do not have a Constance, right, and you need 2 buffers and you have very strong DPS, you can actually buff with your Durza instead of a Constance against Soleil. So we'll keep him here in A plus. He's very hard to utilize. You can utilize him. He can make you able to beat certain stages that wouldn't be able to with weaker gear. So actually we'll put him up there. Then Valeria, I think she is S plus. Put her right here. Then Zalazar, I think, is an amazing hero. Put him up here, also in S plus. Salazar, Arena, God, GVG, now he can be used as well with the new lineups. And on top of that, he is very good for Guild Boss 2 as well, because you can just use his ultimate every time when the boss is in his vulnerability stage, giving you a lot of more bonus points that you can accumulate. So Salazar is amazing there. Then next adjustment, we still have a lot of adjustments to go, and that is Alistair. Question is, I don't think he's individually better than Zalazar. I just think he has better factions, right? Has 2 amazing factions. I think he deserves here as plus. I think that's a pretty solid ground here for Alistair. These 2 are very strong for Semra. They're good in arena. They're versatile. They bring a lot to the table. I think Alistair from S to S plus is fair. Where in S plus? Yeah, I think that's a good placement. He's just very solid. I use him in my Watcher team. Other people use him in the. Honestly, thinking of it, my A0 Alistair is dealing almost as much damage as A3 Ingrid onto Guild Boss 2. Like, the true damage he does with an Ingrid is crazy, right? Because the thing is, we can go and take a look here. Why is Alistair so good for Guild Boss 2? First up, true damage is a very good, as you can see, a lot of true damage here. Then attack bonus for more true damage. Then more and then damage reduction is also big. And then this one, Trembling Shatter. Whenever enemies are inflicted with 3 Radiant Erosion, he has a big chance to hit a lot of more bonus damage. And Ingrid basically makes Radiant Erosion up 100% uptime, and therefore Alistair hits like a truck. But Salazar is outside of the Guild Boss 2, also very good. So I think Salazar is still above Alistair, that's fine. Then we have another hero that has a big jump from S to Z tier. That is Carnelian. She has seen a lot of play now, and I think, boom. Guild Boss 2 she is amazing, right? She's so good. I mean, these C tier, you know, between the tiers, who is where, you can argue for everyone to be above everyone in between the tiers, right? You could say Cornelian, very good for Gear Dungeon 2, very good for all the harder content, more or less, very good for Semra, but then you can say, well, Lost is very good for Epilogue as well. But I think Cornelian deserves to be up here, actually. I think she's so good. She has had such a glow up, especially Gear Dungeon 2. She makes it a lot easier. I think it's easier with her than with a Hotsut, because your heroes don't need that much HP, because you don't need to do many replacements at all. Then we have another big glow up, that is Fersi. Now Fersi, in Guild Boss 2 again, is a staple. I think I put him right here. Also from S to S plus. On top of that, in some codex he's good. He brings some small Invig buff. It is nice to have, but it's mainly that damage reduction that Fersi brings to the table that is making him so valuable, right? Then Aylin, same thing as Fersi. She's just the budget version of Fersi, and therefore she is on the end of S plus tier, or S on top. No, actually on the end of S plus tier, because she's very low cost, which is amazing for some hard content where you have cost problems. She has a very nice unique range that is amazing as well. She has damage, AoE, damage negation, and she has insane burst healing as well. So Aylin, very, very strong with Samra, but also you can use her in Void Rift, you can use her in Epilogue, stuff like that is where she is very, very useful. Then Nyx S plus, where should we put her? Right here. She's the best unit. She's the best unit for left side Gear 3. She's amazing. She's actually very good for arena as well. She's very good for Guild Wars as well. She's very good for PvP, for even though she's not one of these exclusive ancient heroes. So the PvP aspect of her is very vital. She's good for Codex as well. She's just very, very solid. Then next up we have Dasomi. Now Dasomi also had a glow up thanks to Semra. And Dasomi's inspiration and cleansing is actually very good, right? Now, for the people that don't know, Dasomi is one of the few cleansers we have. And there we go, right? You have inspiration as well, but that's not the main thing. It is really that she can dispel debuffs, and she can dispel a lot of debuffs, or he. I'm not sure about if it's a he or she, but that hero is very good. If you do not have a Eloin, or if you need a hero, a second cleanser for your second team, Dasomi works very, very well for that. Very good cleansing, and definitely deserving for S plus tier. And because it is such a role that is hardly replaceable, I think Dasomi deserves to be S plus for sure. And then we have another one, the budget version of Cornelian, I'd say, Sadie. She is great. She is very nice to have. It's harder to utilize her than Cornelian. Cornelian is kind of more brain FK, but Sadie is amazing for Guild Boss 2. And we're gonna put her on top of S tier for now. Depending on how good you are, she's higher than that, but I have never used her, I'll be honest. But you can make a very great use of her for Semra mainly, but that's it, right? Gear 2, I don't think Sadie is the strat. I think Volca is the way to go. So yeah, there's that. I think so it is great, but not quite S plus. Then Kineza, just a slight adjustment, A plus. Then Abomination, I think deserves S tier. He had a glow up in harder content. He become very useful. Also Gear Dungeon 2 is great, right? He's just a solid hero. He's just a solid hero also for yeah, he can just deal with lanes on his own, and it showed with some harder content that this is very valuable. Of course, in terms of boss killing, he's not that crazy, but in harder content, Void Rift Epilogue, Gear Dungeon 2, he's there, and he's great. Kineza A plus, solely because of AOE, because of Arena single target. She performs quite well as a tank there. With her A1, considering her A1. So yeah, we'll consider that. That's fine for me. Then Cade. Now Cade, a very good PvP hero, bottom of S plus tier, I'd say. He's very solid for PvP if you have chaotic units, if you're a spender. If not, he's a very bad, I'll be honest. But for PvP he's very good. But he's not needed actually, so he's S tier. He's good, but not needed, right? He's not the vital part of the comp, but he can deal a lot of damage. He's gonna be S tier for that. S plus tier, Pelagios. I think he's great. Lugaru and Sargak also on the end of S plus tier. Sargak because of AoE, because of PvP. Lugaru the same thing, right? Lugaru the same thing, also because of PvP, and also Pelagios because of PvP. It's simple as that, right? These are the pay-to-win factions. They perform well in PvP. Then let me see. Am I happy with these placements right here? I think I am, more or less. That's pretty solid in my opinion, I think. Right. Is there anyone we would change? And Valeria isn't really a god tier meta character for anything. You don't need her for Gear Dungeon 2, she's great. You don't need her for Guild Boss, she's great. You don't need her for Arena, but she's great, right? Cyrene takes her role in the current meta. But she's very solid. So, because I was thinking, you know, she's more versatile than Artemis, but she's not as essential as Artemis. So Artemis is just such a good anti-healer. And then Thalen, just quick on word on Thalen. Gear Dungeon 2, AoE Arena is where he really shines. And Guild Boss 2, Thalen. You can use Thalen in Guild Boss 2 quite effectively if you use a Sorkadan's comp, because he applies this damage, defense, magic resistance reduction. On top of that, he does the stuns. Yeah, that's right. He's very solid. Yeah, just a slight adjustment. I think S plus is solid for him. He's just very solid. I just want to put that out there. Make use of Thalen's stuns and the magic damage reduction, defense reduction in Semra if you can. The problem is that he takes out Radiant Erosion, so you don't really want to use him with a Watcher team, Ingrid team that he also deals a lot of magic damage, but with the Infernal team he works fantastic. You can use him as a tank, stunner, and debuffer at the same time. And also for other content, AoE content, Gear 8 1, Gear Dungeon 1, and AoE Arena, he's great, right? And I think that's all the adjustments here made. I think that's all the adjustments made. Now I think it is time to rate the new heroes, guys. I think it's time to rate the new heroes. Let me take a sip of water. Because we've been at it. We've been going strong. And let's see. Let's see the new heroes. Who should we start with? The two mages, I think they're here. Lower S tier, S plus tier. Lower S plus tier is solid for them. Or high S tier. It's hard to say. The thing is, the mages, both of them have very high upsides, right? Dahlia is good in GVG as well. Both of them are great for Gear Raid 1. The thing is, for upcoming content, they have very high upsides. Dahlia with her invulnerability, freeze invulnerability. Anora with her freeze invulnerability. And Dahlia with her unique range. Right, so we're gonna put them up here. We're gonna have them up here. And then we will have Ares. Now Ares, budget Torodor. Yeah, I think he has some issues. I think he has some issues. We'll put him here. Right here. I think if you don't have a Torodor, he's nice. The problem really is that two of the best Nightmare heroes do exactly the thing that he wants to do. And you kind of always want to use these Nightmare heroes in your Nightmare comps. First up, Torodor does the damage defense reduction. So you don't get the value from Ares defense reduction. And then Ares also has vulnerability. But Volca already does the vulnerability, right? And these two are often already used. And then he only has damage left. And his damage is not comparable to Salazar, Arrogance, or Lust, right? You really want to use him for the utility. Now, when a new Nightmare Lord comes out, you're not going to be essentially having to use Torodor. Therefore, his damage reduction, defense reduction will have more value again. And then I think he will have upside to get higher, right? Ares has upside to get higher when a new Nightmare Lord comes out. But for now, he suffers off of the existence of Torodor and Volca being so strong. Then Seraphina, we will put her top of A plus tier. I'm a big Seraphina fan. Actually, we'll put her S tier, I think. Yeah, S tier. I'm a big Seraphina fan, but I don't think it's enough for S plus tier, unfortunately for her. She's good for a single target arena. Her boss killing is not that crazy, but she's very good for hard stages with these slow guys in the campaign. I can show you guys real quick. Let's see. Where is it? Normal campaign. There we go. Because these guys are so slow, they walk in so slow, she always has enough time to stack up all of her bursts. She bursts them down, she has a very low ult cost, and she gets a lot of value there. And she's very strong for these kind of stages where she has enough time to build up, ramp up her mythic flames. And then actually A plus. A plus. I think these S tiers are all, yeah, A plus. And then we have, who else? We have Trusk, A tier. Where is Trusk? That's not Trusk. There we go. Trusk, top of A tier. Never been a big fan of this man. I think he's a jack of all trades, master at none. He is a tank that wants to deal damage. He's not the best tank. He's not the best damage dealer. Enough said. You can use him in Gear Dungeon 1 to help out your damage dealers, but other than that, he's nice. He's nice to have. Also, all these new artifacts, I tested them in depth. They're not that crazy. Kineza, Calypso, and Trusk artifact, they're not that good. Then we have Magmus. I think A plus as well. Magmus has good damage, has good survivability, good tankiness. He does not have as much survivability as a Abomination, that's his problem. He doesn't bring the, and he doesn't have the range of Abomination, right? If he had more range, if his ultimate was permanent, like Abominations, after second activation, it would make him way more tanky, and it wouldn't make him S plus tier, right? But unfortunately, his range kind of limits him, and therefore he's A plus tier. I tested him in Guild Wars because of his high attack. The thing is, he works there, right? He works there. I was like, okay, he has very high attack. Let's see how he works. The issue I had there is when I compared him to Salazar, Salazar is just dealing infinitely more damage to high defense enemies with his ult than Magnus does, even though Magnus has such high attack. Then we have some very good heroes as well, such as Lucius. Lucius I'm gonna put here on top of S plus tier, because I'm just assuming that Samurai change is gonna come through, and as soon as that comes through, Lucius for the shield stage is gonna be ridiculous. Let's just hope they're gonna fix that, so he'll be finally fixed. But he's very solid. He's the best DPS for he's the best DPS in the game for the Soleil boss in Epilogue, which is one of the hardest boss, which is one where a lot of people struggle. If you have him, you make use of him there. You can also use the exploit to increase his damage by using his ult and demon stance at the same time, making him take down Soleil very quickly, very swiftly. And Guild Boss, he deals a lot of damage if you play him right, if you let him go into demon stance and do his thing. And once that Samurai change comes out, he'll be super good there as well. For now, without the Samurai change, he's good in Samurai, but not that crazy, right? But once it comes out, he's crazy. Yeah, I think once it comes out, he's just absolutely nuts. But so is Alistar, and Alistar is behind him. She's good for PvP and PvE. He's good for PvE, PvP. No, that's good. Lucius S plus tier. We could put him maybe around here until the buffs, and once Lucius got or once Samurai is adjusted and Lucius is better, yeah, we'll put him here and then see if he gets these adjustments or not. Jira has shocked everyone. Now the numbers are off. I did some calculations. I also had some people in my chat doing some calculations. Something does not add up, because mathematically she should not deal as much damage as she does, because there is a cap on her damage. This cap, the accumulated damage, will not exceed 150%, like, right? At the end it's gonna be 200% of max HP, and the HP, and something's off, but somehow she just deals 400 million damage to Samurai 2 in a Praetor's team, right? If we go take a look here, do we have some Jira enjoyers? Also, let's see. Yeah, this Jira enjoyer here. There we go, 400 million from Jira, 500 million by our boy Alistar. As you can see, she deals very good damage to Samurai. She is a high damage dealer on Samurai, plus she can be the tank. Somehow her HP is crazy. Her numbers are kind of weird, I'll be honest. But I think she's there. I think she is a very reliable on being in a Praetor's team for this bonus stats, or in a Northern team. I haven't really seen people use her outside of the Praetor's team and outside of Samurai, but I think she's a very solid also for some of the content, simply because she is an arbiter. You can put her everywhere where you put Praetor's, right? Then we have who else? Micah. I also put in A plus. Her shield breaking is good, not that crazy. Her damage is good, not that crazy. She's solid overall, right? She's just solid. She's a solid hero. Now some of you guys may say, oh, why is Alora here? Well, Micah doesn't do anything the best. Alora is the best for the right hand side, and no, I don't think Hotset is better than Alora. When I tried Alora, she performed exceptional, right? Always on the takeovers. She does so well here, and also even if you have Hotset, these two Hotsut and her are so good for the right hand side, where she can be replaced. Of course, that's early game. She falls off right after gear A3. She doesn't do much, but it's something to keep in mind with Elora. Then Magda. Magda is a big one. Magda got some buffs as well recently, right? She got some buffs, some bug fixes, then some buffs, some changes, and I believe Magda AoE DPS tower DPS that might be a bit of a reach. There we go. Magda is a very, very strong hero. I wish I have her. I can show you guys why exactly why I believe she's so good. I don't have her, right? First of all, she deals hell of a lot of damage. She deals a sick amount of damage with her ultimate, right? And then she even gets some more damage when an ally dies, which is nice for some cultists. But the talent is not the big thing. I think this one is the big one. The hero, adjacent allies, and allies within attack range gain penetration increase and damage increase. So you can, if you could even use her in Semra. You can use her in every single arena. I've seen Jay and Geo use her in a single target arena just for the penetration increase for her adjacent allies. You can use her in AoE arena. You can use her. She's so versatile. Only this thing right here is so good. It is so good. You can use her in Guild Boss 2, solely for that already, and that's just a very solid to have. And I think easily S+ tier, Then we have Helga. I think Helga is S tier. Or where we put her? Right here. She's a boss at shield breaking, and that's her thing, and that's it. And then we have Ymeret. Ymeret S+ tier. Very good for PvP. And has a lot of benefits as well. I think Ymeret is gonna be for now right here. Good AoE damage, very versatile for many different pieces of content, especially PvP. Slots into every faction thanks to the Unnamed. Unnamed is such a good faction to be, right? Gives a bonus for everyone, so very solid. And Crodor is basically same as Regulus. We can put him bit higher because he has a block increase. Block increase is very valuable, and he's quite tanky as well. And Nornir. And then we have Edith. Edith is S tier. The thing is, she can be replaced. Then my boy is gonna be A+ tier. I'm sorry, he's annoying me. I'm not a big Nocturne enthusiast, I'll be honest. Edith, just Gear Dungeon 2, that's it. It is just Gear Dungeon 2 that gets her S tier. Sure, Borut works. Yeah, since Borut works, she's A+ actually. Since you can replace her with a rare hero, and the only thing that she's good for, she's A+. But she makes it a lot easier, right? You can easily equip her with a morale set. She will survive. It is way easier to time her than to time a Borut. It saves you some time, it saves you some nerfs, and saves you some gear requirements for Gear Dungeon 2. That's it. Now Enid, I'm not sure if he's still bugged or not. That's the problem. Oh, Captain Reef. Captain Reef. We also have to place. Where do we place Captain Reef? Did we have Mass Blast here? I think he's fine right here. Captain Reef right here. Good for Codex. Good CC. Good utility. Nice damage. And not that tanky. Now Enid, I can't really give you guys an opinion. Expertise opinion on that one. I'm sorry. I haven't tested him. I don't even have him yet on my account. Since he was bugged, I'm not sure if the bugs have been changed. I think his potential is S plus, right? Potentially S plus around here, I'd say. Very good for all of the arena where you use Praetus, of course. Very good for all of the GVG where you use Praetus. Very good for the Guild Boss 2 with your Arbiter teams as well. Init, I think, is very solid if he's fixed. Just like Lucius with the fix. I think for now S plus is very solid for him. I think that's more or less it. These three have not been released yet, so I'm not gonna touch on them. And that's it. That's the final list. That's the adjusted list. So we have the lords on a separate category, and then we have here Constance or Ardea. We do both. How about that? I mean, honestly, these three are so good as well. Right, these are so good as honestly. We'll do it like this. Actually, we'll do it like this. I just think Volka's respawn time also for the all epilogue is just very good. For Soleil it's good. For the stages after Soleil, Volka's respawns are insane. Yeah, Volka's got here. What can I say? Volka's got here. IMO. One of the most versatile heroes in the game. Number 1 spot goes to Elwyn, ladies and gents. Number 2 spot, taking down our boy Silas from the number 1. She takes number 1. From the normal heroes, lords are here listed in a order as well. This is the final list. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. Is there some adjustments you would like to make? Who do you think should be higher? Who should be lower? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that said, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I'm Ronaldo. I wish you all a blessed day, and I'm out. Peace.